Dean has this knack of having a high standing, or he gains trust from kind of celebrity figures very, very quickly. And Dean has started to adjust a lot of celebrities in the local area. And it was a conversation they had with Dean. And I said, Dean, look, like that's great, but no one knows about it. Can you help us get some testimonials? And I guess Dean can take over the story from there. And one of Dean's high-profile clients is Russell Brand, who just spoke at CalJam. So Dean, tell us a little bit about what it's been like to work with these kind of high-profile people, and why do you think people don't ask those people for testimonials, or don't think that they can work with those people, and some tips for people. Hey everyone, welcome to the DC Practice Growth Podcast. I've got a very special guest here today. You may or may not be able to recognize that we're related very, very quickly, but I've got my brother Dean here, and for those of you, a lot of you might not know this actually, but for us, chiropractic is a huge family affair. We have 5 first-generational chiropractors in my family. So myself, my wife are both chiropractors. My brother and his wife are both chiropractors. My sister-in-law is a qualified chiropractor in South Africa, practicing chiropractic in South Africa. My other sister-in-law runs 4 of my practices, and for a long time, my mother-in-law ran our accounts. So fully big family affair here. Chiropractic's changed my life, changed my family's life. I think we'll get into it in a moment. But when it comes to abundance, either financial abundance or service or becoming a better person, you know, we're as all in as it gets, especially specifically as a family. We're as all in chiropractic as it gets. But the reason I brought Dean on today was that some of you may or may not know. Some of you might have seen Dean online. You may have seen Dean at events or etc. And now that you see him here, you'll probably go search for him and see his association with certain celebrities. Here's the thing, is whenever we teach branding or marketing, one of the biggest challenges that chiropractors always forget is that they don't use the asset within their practice. And a lot of time the asset in their practice is that they are in some way, shape or form who have either worked with a celebrity or a professional sports team, and they're not leveraging enough in their practice. People kind of cringe when we talk about that a little bit, because what people don't really realize in practice is that the general population is shallow. And what I mean by that is, when it comes to branding and marketing, who you're associated with matters. You know, we're talking about the sales environment in the practice. If someone comes to initial consultation with you and you are a profession, if you associate or you are adjusting a celebrity or a Hollywood star, that you're able to display that, and they're able to see that prior to coming to initial consultation. Let me be clear. Your initial consultation skills, while they always need to be upskilled, your day 1 and your day 2, become far less relevant than when they walk in and they know that you are the chiropractor of 5 celebrities, a professional sports team. The conversation around sales kind of becomes a moot point, because of the standing that you have, with that potential customer in their heads. Now, the other way is to increase your social standing, and that has become, you must be a published author. You should be, anyone that produces content also automatically becomes the expert in the area. But one area that I wish people jumped on, and most of you have someone in your practice that you could just leverage a little bit more, and if you change your mindset on this is truly about getting the best result for the client. There's a famous cancer doctor. His name was Dr. Siegel, and he said there were 3 main things that help someone heal from cancer naturally. So if you think about what I'm about to say right now, you literally will get better results, not just get more business, but you'll get better results based on what I'm about to say. And he said, here are the 3 things. The first thing was that the patient's belief in their body's ability to heal. Okay, so we know that in chiropractic, it's like the patient's belief in their body's ability to heal. This is healing from cancer naturally. The next was the patient's belief in their choice of treatment. Okay, so they have to have the belief in that, the belief that that was the right choice, and they have their belief in that. The next, which is the most interesting for this topic, which we're going to hand over to Dr. Dean in a moment, was the patient's belief in the provider, the belief in the person giving the treatment. So it was the belief in their body's ability to heal, the belief in the treatment of choice, and their belief in the provider that's giving them that treatment. And anything you can do that can positively affect that is quite literally not only going to drive more people into your practice, but also going to help them heal better, which is a different perspective on increasing your branding, increasing your association with celebrities wherever you can. Almost everyone watching this right now has someone in the practice right now that they just haven't asked for a testimonial. And that's probably where I'll kick off this conversation with Dean. Dean practices in one of our practices here at Halsa, and Dean has this. So Dean's going to be a little embarrassed because of my brother that I'm saying this, but I genuinely say that Dean's one of the best people's persons I've ever met in my entire life. He's really got a knack with people just naturally, you know. And yes, there are templates and skills you can learn, and you should learn them, but Dean's been very, very good at that. And it was interesting, one day Dean and I were having a conversation, I'll hand over to Dean now, was Dean has this knack of having a high standing, or he gains trust from kind of celebrity figures very, very quickly. And Dean has started to adjust a lot of celebrities in the local area. And it was a conversation they had with Dean. And I said, Dean, look, like that's great, but no one knows about it. Can you help us get some testimonials? And I guess Dean can take over the story from there. And one of Dean's high profile clients is Russell Brand, who just spoke at CalJam. So Dean, tell us a little bit about what it's been like to work with these kind of high profile people, and why do you think people don't ask those people for testimonials, or don't think that they can work with those people, and some tips for people?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, celebrities are just normal people as well. So like all they want is connection. When we speak to people, like with Russell, he just wants to have connection first. Once we have that connection, we start chatting. He understands the chiropractic word, but it's all about the connection between me and him first. Secondly, what I would say is, once we got into care and he started loving what we do and we got rid of his headaches, my biggest thing was when I, as you just said to me now, Dean, it's awesome what you're doing, but you need to, ask him. And so I know
when I first asked you to ask him, you were a little bit nervous.
Yeah, well, I sent him a message, and I never.
And the reason I want to mention that is that nobody's not a little bit nervous.
Mm-mm.
It's like nobody's not a little bit. We're all a little bit nervous to ask the celebrity for a
yeah.
testimonial or whatever. So
yeah. I mean, the first time I actually spoke to him, he phoned me. So I was like, hi, it's Dean. And he said, this is Russell. So that was a big moment. So anyway, I had his number. So I sent him a message, said, listen, do you mind if we do a talk, like a 2-minute talk on chiropractic? So he came to the office, and obviously he didn't reply, so I was worrying.
Yeah.
And then he just said to me, my neck, etc. And then he said, yeah, like, do you want to do the video now?
Okay, so he was already an existing.
He was already existing. He was into long-term care.
Yeah. So just some context: his family gets adjusted.
Yes.
His kids gets adjusted. He gets adjusted. The family's under chiropractic care. Chiropractic advocates. But it was just bridging that gap between asking him for, if you will, just some support in telling people that he's under chiropractic
Absolutely,
care.
And they're so good at that, right? That's what he does. So,
So
he says, "Come, let's do it." And obviously, you've seen the video, and it was awesome.
Well, actually, some people who listen to this wouldn't have seen the video.
Hello, it's me, Russell. I'm here with Dean Rieder at the Halsa. What are we at? A chiropractic clinic?
Chiropractic and physiotherapy clinic, yes.
And I suppose what we're going to talk about, the sort of benefits of chiropractic.
Yeah.
Well, from my personal experience, what I've felt is that since we started working together, my headaches, I used to get sort of quite bad migraine. I've had I've seen a neurologist about that and had pretty intense prescription medication for it, 3 little pills in a little bag. Sometimes carrying that would make me feel guilty because it looked suspicious, even though it was prescription medication.
Yeah.
Since I've been coming here, I've had no migraines. And even then when I have because of the adjustments, And even quite sort of things that you might describe as local or minor, like this sort of elbow thing that you've just treated, or my shoulder, like it's like you make immediate impact. How does chiropractic make such immediate impact on the body?
Well, it's all just about a sharp, quick movement through the joint, making sure that we can get the movement in that joint, so that the body release all that tension within the body, and then your body heals itself, which is awesome.
It feels like that. It feels like you do something that brings the system back into alignment, and then because my consciousness feels different afterwards.
Yeah, it's awesome. The power of adjustment is very powerful, and I just love what I do. It's been amazing. I mean, Russell, you've been with us for what, 3 months now? 4 months?
I know, and I must say I'm becoming some kind of Superman. Look at that. I mean, I'm immediately taller. I like these as well. I like some of the stuff you have around here. You've got some beautiful graphics going on these walls. What does this thing demonstrate?
So that's the spine, and then that's if your spine is out of line.
Don't stand like that, for God's sake. That's no good. You must be a lot more like that.
Yeah.
So chiropractic is something that you would, obviously you'd recommend it to anyone because you're
Absolutely.
a chiropractor.
Absolutely, and the biggest thing for me is just for people that don't know where to go, just come and get involved. Let's get your spine checked, and then so that doesn't become chronic. That's my biggest thing.
I would recommend it as well. Look at my eyes. Look, I've got the clear eyes of a prophet. And it's all down to chiropractic and a lot of other continual practice, but I recommend this method. Cheers, Dean.
Thank you so much, Russell. There we go.
So, yeah, a lot of people might not have seen the video, but you may have just seen it now. The big thing with that video is that it was done in seconds, and to my knowledge now, it's had over 1,000 shares. It's had close to 250,000 views. Now, the impact that has on chiropractic, but not in chiropractic, our business, and I know for a fact that we've got 8 practices. We got people regularly coming to practices that are like 30 miles away from where you practice saying, hi, I would love to come see the chiropractor that sees Russell. Every day, every week, we have people popping into a practice that's miles away from where you practice saying, hi, I would love to see that chiropractor that sees Russell Brand. So Russell came in and he said, let's just do it now.
Just do it now. So you took out the phone and, started off and how's Russell? And then he went in amazing. He said, Dean, you get rid of my headaches, and you're adjusting the elbows and shoulders. I'm like, great. And then he says, Dean, so what do you do? And I literally sat there at the short shop.
Because you'd never done something like this before.
No, never, ever.
You never, and have you ever, at that point, have you even done a social media post?
No.
No.
I've just done talks, but never ever done anything like that. So
now that video's been viewed by 250,000 people.
So and then you said, and then you asked me on my part, and I did it. And to me, I remember phoning you after and be like, "Geez, I messed that up,"
Yeah. You felt like you messed it up.
Well, you're so nervous, right?
Yeah.
It's just so much going on. And then he anyways, he sent me the video. He said, "Thanks so much." And then he was away for a while.
So he filmed on his phone.
phone. And he sent it to me.
Yeah.
And then, like, just going forward now, obviously, I always laugh because I've actually never watched the full video, which is always quite fun.
Most people have.
Yeah, it's kind of weird hearing yourself. But anyway, so, like, what I've found is, like, with the content that I put into my video, which I found which wasn't 100% the best, it really doesn't matter.
No.
And for me, it's put me in such a position, like, if I can make a flop, if you want to call it, of what my version of chiropractic was then, everyone was for it. Everyone was like for me doing what I did. Everything was not one bad comment came my way. And it's really put me in a position where, like, I don't mind putting myself out in social media more and more and more now.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming from as you said, I've got more certainty.
Yeah.
I've got more. I'm just more confident in doing it.
Yeah.
So it's really helped.
Cool. I would say this though. One of the big reasons first of all, I don't care what business you're in. Content is king. If you want to create a business that sees more people, helps more people, more abundance financially in any way, shape, or form, you have to understand that you have to probably double, triple, quadruple the amount of content you're putting out there. But here's the thing. The biggest challenge, and in my Inner Circle Mastermind, we've got a few guests coming to talk about this, the biggest challenge why people don't put out regular content in this industry, and smaller the industry, the less content people put out because of this. In professional industries, this is the feedback loop you get. When you're a chiropractor, dentist, doctor, whatever it is, you're so used to immediate gratification, meaning someone comes to see you and there's a trade for their service and you make money straight away. So first of all, when you put out content, you don't have that immediate gratification. So you have to have, so I always say, if you're going to put out content, I want you to put out content as if for 2 years you don't care about what this is my goal, was to put out content and never ever have zero attachment to likes, shares, views for 2 years. As go out as if I've got zero attachment to it. Yes, of course I want more shares, or more likes, more views. But if I did it, if I knew that I wasn't even going to judge myself on views, shares, likes, impact for 2 years, I know I'd be more consistent with it because it wouldn't be so hard on myself because it wasn't getting to where I was going to get. First thing. Next thing is, this is the feedback loop you get. You put out content, you get no immediate gratification. In fact, the smaller the industry, not only do you get no immediate gratification, you get negative feedback first. Because Dean didn't get this, but often what will happen is when you put out content, now Dean was associated with, this shows you the power of branding. Dean was associated with a celebrity straight away, so he never got quite the negative feedback. But if you put out aggressively lots of content, which you should, please trust me.
But there was negative feedback.
Yes.
Yes.
There were a few negative posts.
There was negative posts,
Yes.
but not towards chiropractic.
Yes, got it. On those. But that will happen too.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's okay.
It is okay. You cannot put there's even a Bible verse about it. Shame onto the person who everybody likes, because that means that nobody actually likes them. So you are going to get negative feedback. You are going to get negative comments. And then let's be like, we're not in the public eye type people, traditionally speaking, as chiropractors. So when we get a negative post, like, it hits at our confidence, our ego a little bit,
absolutely.
and that stops us. So that's the feedback loop that happens with content, and why most small professionals stop. But in chiropractic, it's even worse, because we're a bit nervous to get criticism, but we're petrified that we're going to get criticism from our peers. We are petrified of what the chiropractor down the road thinks of us. And they don't pay the bills. They don't pay your bills. So what happens is, the smaller the industry, the harder it is to create content, because we're so petrified. Dan Kennedy taught me this many years ago, and he said, we're all the dentists, doctors, chiropractors in the room. I was in a room with 1,000 people. We all put up our hand, and he said, you're all absolute nightmare to work with. And he said, the reason you're a nightmare to work with is because you are so petrified of what your peers think of you. So you're so petrified of what other chiropractors think of us that we don't put out content, because lo and behold, God forbid that they make a negative comment and say that we're doing something bad in the profession or etc. Even more so than the general public.
It's tough, yeah.
It is tough. But I'm going to tell you this, that your impact is directly proportionate to the amount of haters you have at times. That means I don't want you to hate us, but if you're going to put a lot of content out there, you are going to have some, but you're going to help a lot more people also.
Yeah.
So any tips for people? Now, you've gone on to work with quite a few celebrities now.
Yeah.
You're quite understated about it. You don't post too much about it, etc. Also, because I find that when you work with high profile individuals, they also like it that way.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're not going to get as much publicity with them.
Yeah, and I've got other celebrities actually that I've asked, and they've said no.
Yes.
So just ask, and what's the worst? They're still in care. They're not stopping. You just gotta make sure that's absolutely fine if they choose not to.
Yes.
But it's important to ask that question.
Yeah, because then it'll help you serve more people.
100%. And that was about a year before I met Russell. That I asked another celebrity if I could do it.
Oh, wow. So you were seeing some before.
So someone before, and I was like, can we do it? And they just said, like, we'd love to be anonymous, because they love what we do.
Yes.
But they don't want to be like they just don't want to be.
Well, interestingly, you do see quite a few celebrities, and most people think that when you see a celebrity, you have to get in the car and do the whole house thing, home visit thing. But a lot of the guys come in the practice and they see you.
Yeah, absolutely. You just gotta.
Sometimes it's a mix, right?
You gotta put you gotta make your mark, but you've also gotta let them know that you'll help them whenever they need it.
Yes.
So
they'll come to you, but you also let them know.
So the first time I met Russell face to face, it was just literally I had to go do a house visit.
Yes.
To go see.
Yes.
And that's where you build that trust with these guys, because it's very much it's a small community that they work with.
Yes.
Small trust circle.
Yes.
And then once you get there and they see what you're about, and it wasn't even for Russell, but then you say, listen, it's two things. either you charge a fortune for to do a house visit, because
Yes.
we know we can adjust a lot more in
Yes.
an hour slot,
Yes.
or it's like I'm 10 minutes down the road,
Yes.
come get adjusted,
Yes.
and 99% of the time they're going to come see you.
Cool. So they come to the practice like normal practice members and get adjusted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is cool in its own right, Cool. Well, I hope you learned something from today. It was really.
If any of you have seen Bear, Russell's dog, it's a big dog. He almost bit me the first time. So yeah, do it.
Cool. And that's where Dean's been really good. Is Dean's really gone the extra mile to nurture the relationships where sometimes that is, a lot of people, is it worth my while, etc. Trust me, it's worth your while. To just to have that branding behind you and help you grow. I wish if there's anything I would have, if they ask you the question, if you do it all over again, what would you do? I probably would have been more focused on personal brand earlier in my career than I have been. I always wanted to build a business that I wasn't the face of, and then we built 8 practices and did that. But what I didn't quite realize was that you can do both. You can be the face of it, but the business not be reliant on you. And if you look, no one did that better than Richard Branson. Richard Branson built back in the day, it wasn't called personal branding. But when you read Richard Branson's books, he said he realized that it was easier for him to build a business based around his personality than it was just around things. So Richard Branson was kind of the original guy for personal brand. And he built so many businesses across multiple things, and he still was able to sell them, etc. And that was my fear. My fear was that if I became the brand behind the business, that how was I ever going to exit a business? But there was a wrong way of thinking. And if I did it all over again, I would absolutely be focused a lot more on personal branding. And tied with that is your association, being a published author, your association with celebrities, putting that out there, make sure you're on TV shows if you can be on. Our good friend Alex Vidan does that so well. Being on radio. Traditional media still has the highest worth from a branding perspective. So yes, Facebook, social media, all of that is fantastic, and it's definitely tipping. But if you look at a lot of the guys, even that are famous on social media, will leverage traditional media to make them famous on social media. So the fact that, there's no one that's probably done it better than Gary Vaynerchuk. But I love, in the beginning specifically, Gary Vaynerchuk would pump out videos of him on Larry King Live. Now that's a traditional media, so people straight away see him with Larry King on TV, and that was put on social media. But that association with traditional media is still one of the most highest referencing points from a branding perspective. So if you're watching this now, action points are, I promise you, right, there's probably a newspaper. A lot of you have stopped writing the newspaper you should be the health expert in the newspaper. A lot of you stopped because you thought it wasn't giving you new patients, but it's for free, and you can leverage that in traditional media. You also, you've probably stopped doing that. If there's probably a radio show that you could probably be on, if you pushed it a little bit harder, there's probably a celebrity in the local area that you could work with if you probably worked a little bit harder at nurturing the relationship. Hey, I'll come to you. And there's probably a celebrity or sports team or something that you're working with right now that you haven't asked for a testimonial, asked for a video, asked for something, so that you can leverage that and help serve more people. So I hope that was helpful. Please reach out to myself or Dean if you have any pieces of any questions you have, anything like that. If you found this helpful and you like my book, go to my website, dcpracticegrowth.com, grab my New Patient Avalanche book. It's free. You just pay for the shipping. I pay for everything else. You just pay for the shipping. So go and grab that, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribe. We're putting out a lot more content. So make sure you grab one of those things. And there's even a 3-month free trial membership of one of my levels if you want, once you've done the book. So love and appreciate you guys. Dean, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
See you guys soon.